What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 3 and Out YouTube page. I'm John Middlekauff, and we are talking football all day, every day. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. Let's roll, baby. Well, we just have some breaking news. The Green Bay Packers go from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love, and they've extended him to a massive contract. Wild. I guess we knew this was coming. They have been talking about it since training camp started. It was clear Jordan Love and his reps were tight or close with the Green Bay Packers, but we have a new contract, Tua signed earlier today. And I want to start with Jordan Love because I don't pretend to be Belichick in terms of a football historian to know every scenario, everything that's ever happened in the history of the league in terms of contracts, in terms of individual players. But this seems like a pretty unprecedented situation. Obviously, most teams in the history of the league don't go from Favre to Rodgers to another guy that lit up the Cowboys like a Christmas tree and was playing really well till the last couple series against the 49ers in his first year starting after 3 years sitting on the bench. And remember, last year at this time, I don't know the exact date, but they were working on, I guess it might have happened around free agency, the fifth-year option. They were uncomfortable picking it up because the number was so big. So they worked out like a 2-year, $12 million extension, which was a win-win. I mean, Jordan Love had never made any money. At the bye week, I'll never forget because we did it on the podcast, Gutekunst came out and said, listen, I'm not saying these last 11 games define this guy's career, but it had not been going well. To say it was shaky at best would be an understatement. It was rocky, which is understandable. The guy had never played. But that last half of the season and the playoff game against the Cowboys, let's face it, looked like Aaron Rodgers. He really did. The throws he was making, the ability to scramble, the arm angles, the arm power, the accuracy. Obviously, they have a ton of talent. They have an offensive head coach. You're like, I'm buying what these guys are selling. And what was that? In January, now we're in toward the end of July, and he signs a $155 million contract. Guaranteed it's worth $220 million. To me, the number that jumps out, I looked for Tua's, I couldn't find it. He got a $75 million signing bonus. And to my understanding, the way it works in the NFL, a signing bonus is paid within like 10 to 14 days. So he will get $75 million. So essentially half of his guaranteed money within a week or two. That number was pretty eye-opening. And I do wonder because I thought maybe I did a podcast. What day? I'm kind of thrown off on my days. Might have been early in the week, I guess, when it got announced that Jordan Love was not going to participate in practices. I don't know if I was confident he was going to get more than Trevor Lawrence, but I thought that guaranteed number would be 180, 190, potentially 200. And he clearly got less. But that $75 million signing bonus is a pretty big eye-opener. And this is part of give and take. And this is a guy, unlike Trevor Lawrence, who was picked number one, who got a $35 million contract. This guy was picked at the end of the first round. Even his contract extension he signed last year was worth nothing. Who's turning down $75 million, in 10 days. So it's probably easier to take a little less guaranteed money. And here's the thing with quarterbacks. If he plays 85% of the guy we saw last year, he's going to see every penny. So quarterback contracts, unless you suck, i.e. like Russell Wilson when the Broncos cut him, and even he saw all his guaranteed money, you see the whole amount of your contract. I saw it for years with Derek Carr. He would sign these, $140, $150 million contracts, but his guarantee was $60 or $70 million. And then at the end of the contract, he'd accumulated basically all the money. So if Jordan Love just continues to be a high-level quarterback, Pro Bowl level guy, doesn't need to be an All-Pro, doesn't need to be an MVP, he'll see every penny of this bad boy. And here's the thing. I don't know if Vince Lombardi's watching over this operation because I shorted them last year and I was wrong. And I simply did it because I played the numbers. I say, in what world does a team go from Favre to Rodgers? I mean, they had Brett Favre, who's, I don't know, top 10, 12 quarterback of all time. And then they literally upgraded with Aaron Rodgers. I enjoyed Favre more than Rodgers, but I think Rodgers is just a better player than Favre. And a lot of story to be written here with Jordan Love. But if you watched him down the stretch, you went, holy shit, this is what it looks like. I said it yesterday. And listen, I hate, I'm not trying to be negative on a day when guys sign for a bunch of money. Now, Tua was already rich, but my stance was pretty clear. Like, I don't understand. Now, Tua didn't get as much money as some of these guys recently, but they still gave him almost $170 million guaranteed. Where it's like, you guys know. Here's the thing with Jordan Love. It's like, I just beat Dak. I went toe to toe with the 49ers. Like, we think we can win the NFC with this guy. He showed more in 9 games than Tua has in his entire career. Now, I understood paying Tua some amount of money. He brings you value. Every year, you can compete to win double-digit games and make the playoffs. Now, you're going to get throttled when you're in the playoffs, and you're never going to win the division because of the Bills and Josh Allen. But listen, there is something to be said about not being a shitty organization, which they were a lot of my life post Dan Marino. So I get it. But why can't we just why does it either have to be $170, $180 million? Why can't we sign more Daniel Jones contracts? Derek Carr contracts? You know, what Alex Smith used to sign for when guys like Peyton and Rodgers were in a different category. I don't get it. And listen, it clearly happens very, very rarely, but I feel no sympathy when in a couple years, like, you're in major trouble because you can't, when you pay a guy who will never be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He just won't. I mean, he's not talented enough. He simply is not talented enough. That's not the case with Jordan Love. You watch Jordan Love, you're like, arm strength, elite. Accuracy when he's rolling, elite. Mobility, high end. Thing with Tua, he's not even mobile. He's not an athletic quarterback. He's not athletic. So he's a small little pocket quarterback, which again, they've proven they can have some success before the winter comes. But why can't we pay this guy like 3 years, $120 million? So they give $170 million? Like I've said it before, it's like the NBA. A lot of shitty NBA teams in the lottery have max players on their team. It's like, that's a good investment. Way to go with that one. That's what I don't understand it. Never will. The Packers got Jordan Love. If I don't know every general manager in the NFL, but if I did and I called or texted them, put them on a group text, and I removed the Packers and the Dolphins, and I said, who would you take tomorrow as your starting quarterback? Jordan Love or Tua Tagovailoa? I'm pretty confident. It would be 100% Jordan Love. 100% Jordan Love. And the Packers just got him. Now, they had to give him a big signing bonus, but the overall guarantee, less. Nothing means less to me. I think it's so stupid than the average per year, right? It's like he's making 55 or he's making 48. Like, all these contracts are so fake. What was the guarantee and what's the signing bonus? Let's talk real money. That's what the owners talk about. The agents love circle jerking over like, we got this per year. It's like, no, what was the true guarantee? What was the guaranteed cash? And what's the signing bonus? That's the numbers the teams are talking about. You can average per year, talk about that till the cows come home. Nobody gives a shit. If you know money, how's that relevant? Right? And what are the cap hits based on the signing bonus and guaranteed money we're giving you? That's all the teams are talking about. But listen, I understand having Tua as your quarterback. Like, I'm not saying they should cut the guy, but when you pay him money like this, I have no sympathy for, like, I'm shorting your franchise. I'm shorting your franchise. And if the Packers were a stock, as we saw last year, anyone with a brain would buy stock. And like I said, when I did my coach rankings, the reason I like LaFleur, one, we saw him resurrect. Rodgers was in a bad place when he got him. And within a couple of years, he's winning MVPs. Now, you don't get unlimited credit. He's already won MVPs. He was a great player. But where you get a ton of credit is when you get this guy who you drafted at the end of the first round, and by the end of the year, you turn him into a guy worthy of this. Because I don't think there's anyone around the league that like, yeah, totally understand it. I do that too. I think a lot of people around the league today are going, God, that's a good contract for Jordan Love. And a lot of people scratching their head about Tua Tagovailoa. But that's why the Green Bay Packers are one of the most successful organizations in all of professional sports and have been for 30 plus years. And that's why the Miami Dolphins make the playoffs every once in a while, usually get throttled in the first round, and then go back to irrelevancy. I mean, it's just this stuff isn't that complicated. It's really not. It truly is not. I don't know what to tell you, but congrats to Jordan Love. I mean, that guy at the bye week, even Packer fans, if you're watching this, would have to acknowledge you had to be thinking to yourself, listen, it was worth taking a shot. Probably not going to work out. To now he's getting $75 million direct deposited into his account. Well, not really because he's a W-2 employee and taxes, but it's going to be a lot of money. I mean, at that point in time, if I would have told you this was the contract coming down the way for him, you would never have believed me. And now not only is this a contract, but you feel really good about it. You're like, week 1 Eagles, baby. Let's fucking go. Because I promise you this, Packer fans and Packers wouldn't trade Jordan Love straight up for Jalen Hurts. Now we'll see how this all plays out. Lot to be written, right? A lot of unknowns, small sample size, but in his small sample size, the high end looks like what the high end's looking like, supposed to look like. Like in his small sample size, Trevor Lawrence has never looked that good. And he's the most hyped guy since like Luck, Elway, and Peyton Manning. He's never looked that good. Now you can say the Jags, are a Mickey Mouse franchise and the Packers are just a well-run operation. It's true. But I'm as you can tell, I'm bullish on Jordan Love. Think this is an incredible deal, especially after you see what Tua got. And if you got the cash, give it to him up front and move on. So if I'm a Packer fan, I'm still, I go back and I think about this a lot because I'm sick. I think I'm still pretty confident picking the Lions to win the division. Actually, I wouldn't say I'm confident. I say that's where I'm leaning, but that could change. That could change. I'm waffling. I think the Packers are going to be really good. I really do. And if this defensive coordinator, Halfley, is just solid, I mean, let's face it, they're undoing with Jordan Love against the Niners and obviously Aaron Rodgers era defense. I mean, if they ever had a defense that resembled some of those Seattle teams or 49er teams, early in the decade, or some of the good defensive teams over the last 4 or 5 years, they'd have more Super Bowls. So quarterback play and offense has never been the Packers' problem. Do they play defense? And when they play defense, they can compete with anybody. It's just that simple. Like, why the 49ers had more success than them in terms of getting to Super Bowls? Because they play defense. It's not that complicated of a formula. Like, to win at the highest level, look at the final 4 teams. Chiefs, elite defense. Ravens, last year, the best defense. Niners, awesome defense. Lions, DB sucked, but their offense was elite and the defensive line was kicking ass. And I think we all agree their defense is surely going to be better this year. And it's why people are high on the Eagles. They have a bunch of defensive talent. Like, you got to be good on defense to win your conference or even get to the NFC Championship game. And to me, that's the question with the Packers, because I don't have that many question marks with their offense.